Jamie McIntyre here, CEO and founder of 21st Century Education. I'd like to take this short time to, invite you and encourage you to attend our upcoming 3-day Education for Life event at 21st Century. This program was created over 15 years ago and has impacted now tens and tens of thousands of people. We've had people fly from over 17 different countries to Australia in particular to attend this event, mainly because of the impact it's had on so many other people. On this site, you'll be able to watch the testimonials of literally hundreds of people share their stories of how this program's changed their life. And I guess it all started because 20 years ago, or just over 20 years ago, I was a university dropout. I dropped out of college. I was studying accountancy at university, and I was deeply frustrated with what I was learning, or perhaps more what I wasn't learning. I was paying a large amount of money, as you may relate if you went to college or university, tens and tens of thousands of dollars to get an education. And or to get a piece of paper, a certificate or a degree. And I didn't even know why I wanted to be an accountant. It wasn't really my ideal career. And I guess like many people, they start off going to uni to pursue a career when they're not even sure what they want to do yet. And here I'm spending all this money. I was the first sibling in my family to ever go to university, growing up on a farm in northern New South Wales in a town called Glen Innes. And for me, it's quite challenging, but I wasn't really enthused about what I was learning, because I was definitely motivated when I was younger. I wanted to do well financially and live an extraordinary quality of life. I didn't want to settle for mediocrity. Maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you're sitting here listening to what I have to say and think, you know what? I also want more out of life. I believe I'm capable of much more than what I'm currently achieving. And I really believe that people, no matter how well you may be doing or others right now in their life, there's always the next level. I believe humans have a massive potential to achieve so much more than they believe, and most people limit themselves to achieving a fraction of the potential, whether that is in regards to their career or their relationships, their health, their finances. And I guess I'm inviting you to take an opportunity to take 3 days out of your busy life. Let's face it, most people are too busy making a living that they forget to live. I'm going to challenge you and offer you the opportunity to take 3 days out of your life to work on your life, as opposed to always working in it. An opportunity to compress decades of knowledge into a few short days that can give you the shortcut, the accelerated way to get ahead so rapidly. I'm no doubt, if you're like me, I'm an impatient person. And perhaps you don't want to take another 10, 20, 30 years, or perhaps never for many people, to achieve the dream lifestyle and the quality of life they always wanted. And if you don't want to waste another 10, 20 years, then you need to get yourself to an event like this, because it's going to save you 10, 20 years as we compress decades of knowledge in a few short years. And I guess that's what happened to me, because after I was struggling at university, I was finding it not what I wanted to do. I started my first discovery into personal development. I started reading personal development books. I started attending seminars, and I found that it was such an invaluable form of education. And finally, I started my first business at 21, and I had some immediate success, and I had nearly 400 agents around the country working for me. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was never taught about money at school. See, I realized that what we learned at school and university was pretty much a 19th century education. It was our school system and our university systems were designed in the industrialization era. That was the era when majority of people were farmers and were moved to cities in hope of a job, and the factory production lines were started. And they needed to teach people to conform, to go and follow the rules, to be a good employee, and you get a safe, secure job with the government or a large corporation for the rest of your life, and one day you retire to the good life. But how's that working for people these days? You see, we have an outdated formula we're taught at school and at university. We're trying to apply that outdated, flawed education system to the 21st century. And we wonder why it's not working. See, I was smart enough, I guess, to recognize that the education system was failing me at school and university. It was not giving me what I need, no matter how much money I paid at university. I wanted to learn, but I was not learning the skills I really needed to master my life, the skills I really needed to master my finances, the skills I really needed to be able to live my dreams, the skills I really needed to be able to manifest and draw the things I wanted most into my life. I never learned any of those things. So I went, when the students ready to teach your peers, and for me, I guess, I had it, and some people say, what inspired you to become successful, become a self-made millionaire in your 20s and start dozens of companies and live an extraordinary life? What inspired you? I say, well, it wasn't so much inspiration, it was more an act of desperation. I was so broke after my first business failed that I started at 21 years of age. I was $150,000 in debt, and that time that was a lot of money to me. I was facing bankruptcy. I had shut down my companies. I was living in Sydney at the time, and I was literally sleeping on my friend's couch. My friend used to work for me in my company, so he was out of a job, and I was fortunate enough I could sleep on his couch. That's how bad things got. So I had I guess I was desperation. So, I can't handle this financial pain. I'd done everything I thought I needed to do to be successful, but I was never taught the skill sets required to run a business at school. I was never taught the skill sets required to create my ideal career or even know what I really wanted to do with my life. I was never taught the skill sets required to manage money and investments, etc. And so when the student's ready to teach your peers, and a friend of mine, a good friend of mine to this day, said, Jamie, why don't you come and try and get a job where I'm working? I've just started working for this multi-millionaire. He has all these companies. There's a real estate company, accounting company, a financial planning company, a tourism company, a travel agency, a commercial property. And I thought, wow, that would be awesome. And that was the start of the opportunity where I went, finally, instead of just paying a lot of money at university, learn off people that have what I call a PhD in theory. No disrespect to professors, etc., but many of them only have a PhD in theory. Or look at school. Many of our teachers, no disrespect to them, but many of them don't have real life experience. They went from school to university, get a teaching degree, and back to school. So how can we expect to learn the things we need to at school or university when our very lecturers or teachers don't actually have the life skills necessary or never created it? So my mentor, first millionaire mentor, had what I call a PhD in results. And that was what I was looking for. I was over to the highly expensive paid theory that I was learning in traditional education. I now wanted to learn from someone who produced the results. And I guess if you said, is there a shortcut? I'm giving you a big clue now. The shortcut is this: no matter what you want to do, find someone who's already done it, or find a model or a business that's already achieved what you want to do, and simply model it. At school, we're taught not to copy. I suggest in the 21st century, if you want to excel, what you want to get good at is copying. But what we call it is modeling success. So for what I did is I literally went to work to learn. Now, that's the biggest mistake most people make. They go, and I teach you this at the 3-day event, most people go to a job to earn the money. They go for the high paying job. I went to work for my mentor to get an apprenticeship, basically to get a millionaire apprenticeship. I was happy to work primarily to learn in the beginning. And that's one of the reasons I become a millionaire in my 20s at a rapid rate. I don't say that to impress you, to impress upon you. I'm talking about results-driven education here. And you can go to university and get all the theory you want, but if you want to spend 3 days with a multi-millionaire, not just myself, that's someone that started with nothing, that's lived an incredible life, achieved so much more beyond than I ever expected in my own life. And how do they do that? And I don't say that to impress you, but impress upon you, is because I went and studied of people that produced a result. Now, obviously, my study continued after that, and I'm fortunate in my life today, 20 years later. I mean, I've met some of the most amazing people on the planet, some of the greatest business leaders, such as Sir Richard Branson, billionaire, a founder of Virgin Group. And I've worked with people such as Tim Ferriss, New York Times bestseller 4-Hour Work Week, or Randy Zuckerberg from Facebook executive, Mark Zuckerberg's sister. To learn off people, even such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's been successful in so many areas. I mention these names. These are the people that I invite in to speak at some of my 21st century events to make that education available, because I believe you shouldn't just learn off people such as myself or others. You should learn off people that have produced extraordinary results. And that's to get on stage at a 21st century event. You have to have a PhD in results. So this upcoming event is the Cornerstone program I've been teaching, and we really start off, it's not just to teach you the financial strategies. I can teach you how to become a property millionaire. Why can I teach you how to do that? It's because I've done it myself. I can teach you and show the average person how the average person, following one of the simplest formulas that you'll learn at this 3-day, can retire to $1 million net worth within a decade, $1 million in a decade, $3 million within 20 years. I can show an above average person that's willing to work a little bit harder, be a little bit smarter, how to generate within 20 years a minimum of $10 million net worth, following our most basic formula, financial formula that we follow. Now, some people might be skeptical of that, but check out the testimonies. How many people have done this? I know and I've also done it myself. So I don't teach something I haven't done myself, and that's important, and that's the difference from traditional education to a 21st century education. I designed this education then thinking, you know what? When I learn off my Millionaire Mentor how to become successful, one of the promises I gave is that I would share. He said, I will teach you on the condition that when you're successful and apply these strategies, that you will pass them on and share them to others. So that's even now 15 or 20 years later from when I started learning this. And for 15 years now that I've been an educator, is being sharing and taking the time to do that. Like, I don't really need to earn a speaking fee to be at this event, but I am there because I've seen so many people's lives change, and I know by taking the time and energy that someone had the time and energy to care enough about me and share their knowledge and wisdom with me changed my life. And I know that if you're willing to have an open mind and you're committed to producing results in your life, and you just don't want to settle, and you know deep inside of you there's more you can achieve, you are more than what you're living right now, then you need to be in this event. I don't care what it has to take. You have to hire the babysitters, take a day off work. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up soon. You just need to get yourself there, to put yourself in the environment. Just a single idea that you could get from this event, what's it worth to you? Just a single idea. I'm going to teach you how to negotiate a pay rise. I'm going to teach, as I mentioned, the formula to create at least $1 million net worth in 10 years, at least for those who are above average, a $10 million net worth in 20 years. You're also going to learn some brand new strategies for the very first time that have never been taught that we'll be introducing, for how to become a professional blogger and earn $100,000 a year, how to learn from domain trading off one of my friends and earn $100,000 a year, how to become a Bitcoin millionaire. Many people have never heard about this. These are leading edge strategies that 21st century always make available to you. So not on top of that, real estate strategies, the best stock market strategies that are available. I'm going to give you an economic update of how I see the world and the economy and trends that you want to be looking out for. The trend is your friend, and you want to be ahead of that. But apart from all the financial strategies, all the opportunities that you're going to have to rapidly accelerate your income, to rapidly manifest the things that you want most and draw them into your life, I'm also going to teach you some of the most important things, because what I needed to change my life was I needed to change my thinking. Because I used to think I knew everything. You know, imagine 21, at 21 you think you know everything. It wasn't until I realized how little I knew, and I'm starting to become a sponge and learn. And I'm into constant, never-ending learning. To this day, I fly and invest money to attend conferences and seminars to continue to learn. I read books almost every day and magazines and financial reviews. Why? Because I want to keep on learning. You got to keep on growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. I'm going to challenge you to say, how much do you invest every year into your self-education? Because if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then who is? If you're not prepared to, why should someone else? I can tell you now, as a founder of many companies, of a dozen companies in diverse industries, from real estate to software, to agriculture, to accounting, to finance, to stockbroking, to education, recruitment in the past, media and publishing. It's a very diverse range. I can tell you now that as an employer, I look more for these days for people that have done courses and invest in their own self-education than I do for what degree they have. Because what you're looking for and what companies are looking for is people that have self-initiative, have accountability and responsibility, and are results driven. And that's what I'm talking about here. 21st century education, after you go through this 3-day event, you can also sit for an online exam and become certified. And you can add it to your CV and resume if you want to get a higher paying job. But I know many of you, when you learn the strategy and teach you, will be able to no longer have to work for someone else if you don't want. You want to have that freedom. And I can say that generally, and you can watch the testimonies and you can study and see countless of others that have done this. I'm not saying it's easy, it's not. But it's simple. And what you're going to find is that it's a lot of common sense, strategic, intelligent thinking. But you say, why isn't everyone doing it? I can tell you now, one, they simply don't know how, because they've never bothered to have an open mind to invest in their education. And two, the other thing they have is that they don't have the right psychology. And that's what I was alluding to before. I needed to change my thinking. When I changed my mindset many years ago, then things started to happen for me. As my millionaire mentor said, Jamie, if you don't change your thinking, then you're not going to change your results. Think like an average person and you'll produce the results of an average person. We know that to be true. If we can change our thinking, like, let me ask you a question. Do millionaires think differently to those on a pension or those on Centrelink payments? The answer is obvious, of course they do, but what is that difference? And through this 3-day program, we're going to dissect and you're going to see in detail what that difference is. And you'll be able to do your own self-coaching, go, well, do I need to change my thinking in these areas? Because by transforming your thinking, then your results will change. There's a statistic that you may not be familiar with, that immigrants that migrate to Australia are 4 times more likely to become self-made millionaires. 4 times more likely. Now, why is that? We're going to go in and explore why that is in this event, because that's going to give you a lot of in-depth to understand why you can outperform and why living in a rich country, if you're not rich, you're doing something wrong. Does that make sense? If you're not a millionaire living in Australia, then you are doing consciously something that is preventing wealth flowing into your life. And we need to change that. I'll give you a clue. It's called social hypnosis and social conditioning. Most people are social conditioned into thinking a certain way around money. I'll give you a clue. How many people think if it sounds too good to be true, probably is? That's social conditioning. High return must equal high risk. That's another social conditioning around money. And we're going to explore these so you can start to see what holds the average person back, and you can change your thinking to ensure you're not going to produce the average results. Now, I also know many of you listening to this already achieved success, whether in real estate or the stock market, in your career or in business, and I acknowledge that. And why do successful people come to events like this? Well, successful people come to events because they know just one idea can transform their life. One idea can transform their business. One idea can transform their investment strategy. And I can tell you, as an educator for 15 years, I've looked and studied and learned of some of the most successful people on the planet, from not just millionaire mentors I had 20 years ago to now these days, at least half a dozen billionaire mentors that continue to help me grow and stretch my imagination and continue to learn and grow and achieve more. And I pass everything that I know on to you in these 3 days. But it's not just me. I invite in select other people that have extraordinary results in different parts of their life, who overcome extraordinary challenges that you can realize after you listen to one of my friend's story of how he lost both his legs at 9 years of age. You'll realize, you know what? I've been making excuses, because for many of us, we already know what we need to do. We're simply not doing it. My job as a coach, if you want me to be a coach and mentor for you through these 3 days, is to get you to act. And that's what this program is about. It's to get you into action, to teach you the psychology, the strategy, to give an array of choices. That you have all the choices, then get you into action, because it's only action, and consistent action will change your life. I can guarantee you, once you understand how to eliminate procrastination, which I'll share with you, how to tap into what your purpose is and get absolutely crystal clear about what your purpose is in life, then that builds a strong foundation. And I can give you a strong sense of urgency why you need to act now. And the psychology of very successful people, what they have. And you'll notice, once you adopt that psychology, how much more life you have, how much more enthusiasm you have, how much more you want to get out of bed early, and how much more you want to cram into a day, because you'll start to realize how valuable life is. If all you wanted to do is get out of this program is to be happy and more fulfilled, then you will get that, because I'll teach you the actual science behind what leads to happiness, why most people are not happy. You know, people say, why are you happy all the time? I'm like, Jamie, why are you happy all the time? It's because I've developed this psychology, and I have certain rules that enable me to be happy on a consistent basis. These are tools that you can add to your emotional toolbox, as I'll share with you how to be emotionally intelligent. Now, what I'm talking about, as I said, is strategic, intelligent, common sense. These are things that should have been taught at school but weren't, should have been taught at university but weren't, and they're not to this day. And if you want to get an education that will serve you for life, an education for life, if you want to get a modern day education that will serve you for the 21st century. If you want to learn how people actually produce results, not just theory, then get yourself to a 3-day Education for Life event, because this is the leading edge education you can get. And you're going to be able to meet and mix with other like-minded people that are passionate about their life, that believe in their dreams and in going places. And I look forward to seeing you there if you're prepared to commit to yourself and invest in your own education. I promise you this, I won't betray your trust. This event, I believe, will be absolutely life-changing for you. And as you know, all our programs come with a 100% money-back guarantee. And if you don't feel that's the case for you, then you've got zero risk. But here's what you should be thinking. What risk will it cost you if you do not get yourself there, if you do not learn what you need to learn in this event? And decisions that you need to make to transform your life. What will it cost you? Can you afford to wait 10 more years, 20 more years, 30 more years to achieve the success you want? Or do you want to compress decades of knowledge and make things happen now, not later? You know, life is about living and making the most of it. If you choose to come on this journey with me, I look forward to seeing you there. I'm excited about what you're going to learn and the opportunities that you have to improve the quality of life and live with passion. I'll talk to you soon.